Hey, this is Cyrus from Newfound Glory, and you're listening to Epic Footnote.
Hey everyone, what's going on? It's Tell a Truth and a Lie. I'm Matt.
And I'm Zach.
This is the second of our 2 interview shows that we do, and we interviewed the drummer from Newfound Glory, Cyrus, and it was a really awesome interview. If you missed part 1, go back, check it out, because there's a lot of great stories that Cyrus tells. There's a lot of really cool recollections of what he did while he was drunk at a certain award show and met a certain guy who actually is part of a really big band that influenced us in one of our shows, but you'll have to listen to that to find out who. But Zach, what did we jump into in this part of the interview?
You know, we always like to say that this is where we encourage artists to lie to our faces, but like in the past episodes, even the lie kind of was revealing, and it was really interesting to hear a little bit more about the instruments that Cyrus has got to pick up over, his youth. And actually, a little special part about this too is that in addition to the 3 facts/lies that we asked for him, he gave us a lot of bonus facts about his life.
Bonus material.
Both personal, like from when he was in high school, and then also just involving Newfound Glory. And, in the first part of our interview with Cyrus, he really went into, how he met MxPx, the guys in there, and how he's really become close with Mike. But I think while playing this game of 2 Truths and a Lie with him, we really got to learn even more how impactful MxPx has been, not just on Newfound Glory, bringing them out on tour of them, but even just on the whole pop punk scene. So that was also just really kind of cool to delve even further into that discussion. But you know what? Don't take our word for it. Find out for yourselves. Listen to part 2 of our interview with Cyrus from Newfound Glory, and then also let us know who else you want us to interview on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at Epic Footnote. We want to talk to more artists, but we want to make sure that you actually are interested in it too. And sit back and enjoy.
See ya.
Now I want to segue into our series, Tell the Truth and a Lie, where we essentially encourage our guests to lie to our faces. We're going to ask you to share 3 things. 2 are true, 1's a lie. And then we're going to ask you some questions to try to figure out which one's the lie.
Okay, so I wrote the main riff to Hit or Miss. I also started playing drums at a young age, took lessons since I think I was around 5 years old. And then I was also responsible for getting us on our first big tour, which was shows with MxPx. So which one of those 3 is not true?
So let me ask a question about the first little tidbit you shared.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I know that you actually started off playing guitar before you segued into drums. Is that true? Or am I making that up myself?
That is true.
So you wrote the riff on a guitar? Like, you recall what inspired the riff?
No.
Just came to you?
A riff happens, yeah. It's hard to say because it's not like it sounds like any other song. I wrote a riff and I recorded it on a tape, and the riff repeated over and over and over and over and over again. I don't think there was any other parts of the song. It ended up becoming Hit or Miss.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, what did the band think of it when you first presented the riff to them?
It wasn't even like, hey guys, I have this song we should play, or even, hey, I have this riff. I think I either played it on a guitar, or I might have played the tape randomly, and Chad heard it and was like, okay, that's kind of cool. Do you mind? Can you show me how to play it? And then, do you mind if I try to mess around with this? I was like, I could care less. Go ahead. And it's the main riff for Hit or Miss. So that's in the intro, and then also the choruses and stuff like that.
Right. And
next thing you know, there was pretty much the song you hear on the CD written using that riff, and then a different riff for the verses and pre-choruses, and the bridge part, which is the big halftime part. Yeah, so it was that song, but it was my riff.
Okay.
Every single show.
What drew you to the drums at age 5?
It's a musical thing. There's music in my family, although it's not immediate. My great-grandmother, she loved playing piano. She played piano for her church and all this stuff, and I didn't really know her that well, but I heard stories about it. And so right around that same time, it's taking piano, guitar, if it was around, and drums, and just my parents noticed that I was the kid that loved to like copy stuff.
Okay.
Not in a bad way, but it was like if you hear something on the TV, you go try to run and play it, or you're that kid that's tapping on desks or tapping on a table,
Yep.
or annoying people, right? And the guitar was a little different because the guitar is kind of hard to like just mess around with, but once you learn how to read music and then kind of figure out even numbers, because like tablet, if you know anything about guitar, the guitar music tablature, it's just numbers. So, and then you just memorize and get your fingers to stop hurting because you play it so much. I also had I have an older brother who's like 3.5 years older than me. So a lot of that came from him. He was the kid that got into like alternative when it was happening, or metal, and passed down a lot of that stuff on to me. He had the sheet music that I would run into his room and play when I could.
Okay.
Now, going to the third one. So you revealed to us that you first met MxPx in a Denny's. You say that you were responsible for getting on tour with them. How far after this encounter would you say this opportunity came up?
It would have been about 2 or so years after.
So at this point, you already became friends with them?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
I have my random run-in, but other than that, it's like they're a touring band, and unless you're going to try to stay after the show, be that person outside their bus waiting for them to maybe come out, you're not really going to see them. I would just go see them at concerts. And the story behind the MxPx thing was I had tickets for a concert in South Florida. They were playing Orlando the night before, about 3 hours away from me. And on a whim, my friend and I decided to drive up to Orlando to go see the show. It was like a Friday night. They were playing Saturday in South Florida. We show up at the club maybe an hour before they play, like right after doors have opened. And we're walking up to the club in Orlando. And some lady stops us and is like, "Hey, are you guys going on the show?" We said, "Yes." And she's like, "Well, it's sold out." And we're like, "Okay, that sucks." And we turn around and start walking back to our car. And she's like, "But I can get you in." And when I say lady, I mean, she had tattoos and stuff. She was, affiliated with the venue or something. So she's like, "I can get you in." And we're like, "Okay." And then we come to find out it's MxPx's tour manager.
Oh, wow.
And she happened to be, I think, walking to their bus or whatever to grab something, and she got us in. I don't know why. I really don't know why. And she got us in, and as we're walking in the club, I was like, "This is amazing. We're going to the show tomorrow." We just came up here on a whim. And I'm like, "Listen, I'm in a band, and I think it would be really awesome. I want to show my thanks. If I go to the show tomorrow, can I bring you, like, I didn't even expect to go talk to them. Can I bring you a packet or like demo stuff?" So back then you had press folders. And so would bring CDs and whatever. "Can I bring them to the band?" She's like, "Sure, just find me tomorrow." And so the next day we did. And I found her, gave her stuff. She actually was like, "Hey," she saw me before the show. She's like, "Give me that stuff now." So I gave it to her. And then as MxPx is playing in between some of their songs, Mike goes, "Anybody ever heard of this band New Found Glory?" And I'm like,
"Oh, wow.
I'm dreaming. Like, what's going on?" I'm saying this in the microphone. And he's like, "We just got their CD. It is awesome. And they are a local band from here, and you should definitely check them out." And I'm like,
wow.
"Oh my God." And after the show, I see the tour manager again. And I'm like, "How did that happen?" And she's like, "No, the guys really love the CD. Here, why don't you come up on the bus and meet them?" And I'm telling you, I mean, this stuff doesn't happen. You can't write this any better. Like, we don't even do this with bands. They brought me up on the bus, and Yuri was already wearing our shirt.
Oh, wow.
Maybe because he was so sweaty. It's Florida, and it was an outdoor show, so he sweat like crazy. But he was already wearing our shirt, and Mike was like, "Yeah, this CD's awesome, blah, blah, blah." Fast forward like maybe 6 months later, and I get a page on my pager. I'm dating myself. And it's this 206 number or whatever. That's Seattle area code. And I call it, and it's their manager. And they offer us shows. And it was the 4 shows that we got on. So it was all because of me.
It's funny because that's almost like a bad precedent that MxPx set. Because like you said, you don't even do that with bands. I mean, that's the kind of thing that literally every teenager who starts a band dreams of happening. And it happened to you. That's insane.
Yeah.
Or did it? That's where we have to find out. I think I know the answer, though. Matt, do you have any other follow-up questions before I make a big, bold claim?
No, I'm curious of your big, bold claim because I think I might go the same way.
I actually think, so kind of going back to what I was saying before, I'm pretty sure you discovered guitar first and piano, and it wasn't, I think the time frame of when you picked up drums is off. I think there's a level of truth to there, but I think you discovered it older.
Matt, you want to weigh in?
I think. See, your intuition was right when we talked to Ryan Roxy with the Steven Tyler story that he gave. So I'm trying to think, like, do I go with you or do I not? You know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that last story wasn't true, just because there's so much detail in it.
You think there's too much detail?
I think there's a lot of detail, so I think I'm inclined to go with the last one.
All right. Okay. Well, put us out of our misery. Which was the lie?
The lie was that I played drums starting at 5. And I should have, full disclosure, when you guys emailed me and told me about this, you said, find a fib that even a diehard fan wouldn't be able to tell. And I should have actually taken that to heart, because it sounds like you guys pretty much know a lot of stuff already.
We're going to quote you on that, by the way.
No, it's true. It's true.
Fun fact, we actually get things wrong a lot of the times, and our wives can attest to that as well.
Yes.
Yeah, but you said almost at the very beginning of this interview, so you're a real estate agent, and I'm like, oh, I'm in trouble here. Like, what do I say? Yeah, the MxPx story is 100% true, and I will always say that. Real. I think it's pretty awesome. The hit or miss riff. If you know anything about our band, you've probably heard somebody say something about that. But I still think I use it because I think it's surprising, eye-opening in some ways. A lot of people just think the drummer does whatever. And there's a lot of bands where the drummer does things you don't think. Like in Less Than Jake, Vinny, the original drummer, wrote almost all the lyrics. Rush was the same way. Neil Peart wrote all the lyrics.
Well, and it's funny. I almost would have bought that too, but I don't even know why I remembered reading somewhere it was guitar first. Listen, you could have been a prodigy and at 3 years old learn how to play guitar, and I probably would have believed that. What was the age? Okay.
Yeah. No, go ahead. What was the age of what, drumming?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is where it does get a little surprising, is the drumming. I started playing drums when I was like 15 years old.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The 5-year-old was piano. Mm-hmm. And when you started asking the questions, I'm like, oh man, you're totally going to bust open the story, because there's not enough time for me to go as a 5-year-old graduate between 3 different instruments.
Listen, musical geniuses are in all different forms, so you never know.
I wish I'm not a genius by any means. And also, I told you, taking lessons since I was 5 years old. I've never taken a drum lesson. It was the thing. I took piano lessons, and it was actually on an old organ we got from a thrift store, so it wasn't even like real piano lessons. I never had a real piano. And then the guitar, I took some lessons, but a lot of it was, and that was when I was like 11 or 12. I didn't start playing guitar until then. Again, it's kind of hard to believe that a 5-year-old want to read music with numbers on it and figure it out. So my bad. But yeah.
You never know, though.
You never know.
True.
You never know. I mean, and honestly, I'm more shocked that it was that late that you discovered drums.
And that's the thing. It's I only started playing drums because I was a guitar player. All my friends are guitar players, and every time I tried to start a band, there were no drummers. There was like one drummer in my high school, and that kid was in different bands. So it's like, you're not going to be his 5th band. He's never going to come to band practice. Like, he's just doing it to get the girls or something, or to be cool. Like, I'm in another band, right? He doesn't care. I'm going to do one really quickly. That's
No, listen, I like
3 more, but not really musically related.
That's fun.
Not really musically related.
Oh, I love this. Bonus.
Okay. You know one of them, but I'll add it in there.
Okay.
I have a real estate broker's license.
Okay.
I was a cheerleader in high school.
Okay.
Okay.
I started a chess club in elementary school. Which one's not true?
Okay. So tell me about the cheer squad.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
I'm picturing you with pom-poms right now, so.
Close. No pom-poms. The guys don't usually use that. I mean, if you think...
sorry.
Yeah. Think about those movies you've seen. The guys don't have the pom-poms. It was in high school, and I was not conned into it. I was forced into it. One of my good friends in high school was on the football team, and he was struggling in one of his subjects. And I believe the teacher, I don't know what subject it was, the teacher was the cheerleading coach. And she basically told this guy, here's a big dude, he's offensive lineman. She goes, yeah, you're going to fail my class, but I have an idea. I want to try to have male cheerleaders. This would have been the first time there's male cheerleaders at my high school. I went to a Catholic high school growing up. I want to have male cheerleaders. If you become a male cheerleader, then I will pass you in the class. It's like extra credit.
Okay.
I happened to be walking next to him that day when she told him this, and he did the Dave Grohl hug on me, and he's like, Cyrus is coming with me too. And then I think the next day I found my other friend, and I said, as long as he does it too. So here's three of us. He's my three good friends. One of them was actually in my first band ever. I'm still good friends with these guys today, and we were the male cheerleaders for. I don't know if it was just 1 year. I know it was definitely basketball, like spring season for us. We were supposed to be the guys that were throwing the girls up and doing all that stuff, and we weren't really. I was pretty weak, but I got a girlfriend.
You got a girlfriend out of it?
Yeah, man. I went from nerd to cheerleader nerd with a girlfriend. It's one of the cheerleaders I dated.
Oh, all right. So, I mean, I know that, cheerleading is also, you have to be athletic for it. And what was the most difficult part about being on the cheerleading squad?
Just accepting that you were a male cheerleader and facing all the people that you saw at school on a daily basis, but being with the cheerleaders in a uniform.
That's fair.
Until cheer camp, which was just not this week or 2 week thing. There was an extracurricular one day cheer camp where there was like 1,000 girls, and it was the three of us and the one college guy. It was a college thing, and the one college guy. He was like, "You see, this is why you do it.
It's worth it. Here's the payoff."
Yeah,
that's really
exactly.
Tell me about chess, the chess club. What inspired this?
I learned chess at a very young age. My father taught it to myself and all my brothers. And I think it was in 4th grade. And it was one of those things, a teacher kind of knew that I was into chess, and she also knew that I had brothers or whatever. And she was like, hey, we should start a chess club at school, and you should start it. And yeah, I'm in 4th grade, so I don't really care about it being nerdy or any of that. There's no stigmas to it. Okay, sure. We'll do it, once a week or something. We come here, try to get a couple people, and we'll play some chess. And it was kind of cool because I was a 4th grader, but we had kids that were like in 1st grade and a couple older that played. Not too many that were older. I think quickly realized that chess was not the most popular sport.
It did not have cheerleaders wanting to date you.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't get many girls out of that. But yeah, chess club. I think I made my younger brother play because he was 2 years younger than me. So it was one of those I could get him to start it with me or be in it with me.
Did you ever win any notoriety?
With chess? No. Yeah, no, not even cheerleading.
Do you still play chess?
Yeah, I mean, not regularly. I'm trying to teach my son chess. There's some cool things now. There's apps and stuff that make it like a game where, it's like a role-playing game, but there's squares and you can only move certain ways. And it will be interesting to see because I didn't learn that way. I learned with my dad, hard way, like smacking my hand. No, the knight doesn't move that way or whatever. Yeah.
Boring wooden chess pieces.
Exactly. We had the really nice chess set, but you weren't allowed to use that until you knew how to play chess. And even then you had to be careful. And that was the one that was like, not marble, but it seemed like it was, and it was Napoleon, and it was all supposed to be like, or Greek or Roman, whatever, just lifelike in a sense.
That's when the company came over. That's the chess set you take out.
Exactly.
I know about the real estate one, but I am curious though. How did you actually get into real estate?
I got into real estate because my wife is a licensed real estate agent as well. She has been licensed for, I want to say, about 15 years now. And I met my wife in high school. Although we didn't date then, I just knew her from back then. And so I've known her for a long time. She got her license before we kind of rekindled. We got together around 2011, I think. And she was still licensed and working, but same thing. She had a regular job and was doing real estate on the side. And it was 2014 that she was like, look, you really should get your license. It's not that hard. You just have to study a little bit up front and learn the stuff. And then once you get your license, the continuing education is very easy. And it's just making sure that you kind of stay up on the laws. And then you can do it whenever you want. All the stuff I told you guys about it. So I did. I was into waking up early at that time, and I still am. And so I'd wake up kind of before I had just become a father. I'd wake up before even the baby would wake up and spend an hour or two each day learning, going through a book or whatever. And within a month or so, I got a license. And then I just kept going. The broker's license, after a few years of being a real estate agent, you can go take another class and become a broker and all that. So I don't have my own brokerage. I just work as a real estate agent, but I have my license and I'll keep it. I never want to let it lapse because you got to start all over. And you can keep it. So let's say in 20 years, even the band slows down, I could be like, well, I've been a licensed agent for 30 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's you have the time on your side in that sense.
Yeah,
No,
smart.
absolutely.
That's definitely smart.
It's something you can do on the side.
I'm curious, and maybe you've already given this advice to fellow musicians, given your experience in it, but what advice for if you're on the road, a musician or just any person trying to explore arts who's also looking into buying a home, what is the best piece of advice you would give them?
When you're a musician or any kind of like self-employed person, independent contractor, you want to call it, it's a little tough. And that's because mortgage companies, lenders, and just the whole industry, unfortunately, that big housing crisis of 2007, 2008, it imploded because of the fact that lending standards were extremely lenient and anybody could get a loan. And they realized that was one of the main causes of it. So they won't let that happen again. And they've tightened up. And even speaking personally, it's not easy to get a loan. And it doesn't matter how much money you make. It's the fact that they don't want to believe that that's going to be regular income, because lenders, all they're doing is they're assessing risk. It's like an insurance agent or something. They're assessing your risk. And are you going to default on the mortgage? Because they don't want that. That's a big loss for them. So as far as being a musician, you need to educate yourself on what you can afford, because a lot of musicians are not nowadays. I realize, especially of my generation and even the next generation, you're very unrealistic on what you can afford. You think you can afford this, and either A, it's way too expensive for you, or B, you really can't afford what you think you can. Because owning a house is great, and a lot of times it is cheaper than renting. However, there's other things that go into it, other factors, there's other costs and stuff. And then it's this down payment, which is daunting. But on the same token with that, the down payment, a lot of people get very, very scared of. It doesn't have to be this classic, you put 20% down. That's not necessarily the case anymore. There's a lot of programs out there, and there's a lot of incentive for first-time home buyers where you can put down as little as, I don't want to, don't quote me, but 1.5%, 3%. That is nothing compared to 20%. And save up 3% of a house is a lot of money. But you know what? People can do that. If you save up for a car or something, you could probably take a few years and do that. And before you know it, you might have enough. Or you can get assistance. Maybe you have a parent or relative that's willing to give you money. It's okay sometimes, especially when you're a first-time home buyer, to do that.
Oh, sound advice.
Really
so
good,
now I'm curious. So we're going back into, we know you're a real estate agent, and even if we didn't know that, all that advice, I would be shocked if you weren't a real estate agent.
I mean, I could definitely have the browser open over here, and I'm just reading.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You sold.
I should have done that as I was doing some of this, just to throw you off.
In 2009. Anyway, so I think there's a level of truth to chess. And I wouldn't even be surprised if it turned out that you were a member of the chess club, but you didn't found it. I'm going to go that you found the chess club as the lie.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with. Yeah, chess.
I tricked you guys. All three of those are true.
Trickster.
Sorry. Yeah, I guess, the cheerleader thing, it's, I told you too much and you had to believe it, right? Most people would be like, yeah, right, you were a cheerleader. Very true. I was a cheerleader, and I was for one season, and my band will never let me live it down, but I could care less now. I'm married with 2 kids and it's all good. So
yeah.
I will say I'm a little surprised that hasn't made its way into a music video.
Yeah, I was just going to say that
they haven't made you be a cheerleader in a video.
Ironically, my wife was on that cheer squad with me.
Oh, really?
No kidding.
Now, you know what? I take it back. She was on the cheer squad, but it was a year after. I was a junior when I was a cheerleader, and I dated a senior girl. See, that's another.
Oh, there
nice.
you go.
Yeah. Now, I went one up on everybody, right? Also, let's see, other surprising things. I was a kicker on the football team for a year.
Wow.
I did found the chess club in my elementary school. Here's another one I could have thrown at you. I'm the original drummer of New Found Glory.
That I actually knew. But
I'm not the original drummer. That's a lie.
Oh,
right.
Well, no. So I was going to say that I knew because I thought you joined it after they changed their name from A New Found Glory to. Were you in the band when it was still up front, A New Found Glory?
Yes.
Okay.
I think when we went on tour with MxPx, it was still A Newfound Glory. However, we released the CD like that. So Nothing Gold Could Stay, which came out the day it came out was the first day of the MxPx tour. And it came out because that's when we could get it pressed, and we had to hurry up to get it pressed so we could sell copies. We didn't even have front covers on that first show at MxPx. And we had people sign their names, and we were supposed to send it out. I don't think we ever got those covers out to people. A lot of people remind us of that. So we were A Newfound Glory for a while. We didn't change our name until after we released our major label CD, the self-titled Newfound Glory. Changed our name. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say, I had a song named after me.
You had a song named after you.
Not by Newfound Glory.
By Newfound Glory.
By Newfound Glory.
By Newfound Glory.
A nickname, or is it your actual name?
No. The song. It was a rough title.
Oh,
a rough, like a working title. Okay.
What was the song? What did the song end up being?
Played in concert.
Oh, you did play it in concert. Huh. When was this?
I'm gonna go with that's probably true.
Yeah, it is. It is true, and it is the song "Telltale Heart," which is on our first CD, "Nothing Gold Can Stay."
Oh wow!
And we didn't have lyrics for it, but we had what was kind of a chorus, and they would just, hey, Cyrus, Bolooki. Because I was the new drummer, and they wanted to introduce me.
Oh,
okay.
They wanted to make you feel welcomed. That's so sweet.
I guess, and I'm still a new guy.
All these years later.
Yep.
And never forget,